Good morning. It's KFC Deputy with Deputy Tribe. Today I would like to address one of the questions that I get a lot of, and that is, how do you balance everything? How do you get everything done? So I just want to give you kind of a glimpse of what we do and what we balance, and then some practical tips on how you can utilize your time to accomplish more. Very practical application stuff. So I am a homeschooling mom of 8. I also am a wife to a man that has his own business. So he runs his own HVAC business. And so there's a lot of booking and a lot of things that need to get done with that I help with, some of the financial stuff. He also is very involved in political stuff. He teaches a Constitution class. He has run for office. He helps manage a nonprofit coffee house. He's very busy. So coming alongside him and all of that. On top of that, I run an herbal medicine business with my sisters, and that entails making products. I currently started making soap on the side and selling that. And I also do all the finances for our business. Let's see, I'm kind of scatterbrained. I have worked with the Old Schoolhouse magazine for years. I have done their homeschool review crew for I think 6 or 7 years now, reviewing homeschool curriculum and then writing or recording reviews. I also currently write for their magazine, which has been a lot of fun. Let's see. So I also have the YouTube channel that we do. As far as homeschooling goes, we are huge history buffs. We love to read books. We love to study things. We take a very much like kind of unit study / Charlotte Mason / I don't know. We learn what the Lord leads us to learn, and it's really led by the Holy Spirit and my interests and my husband's interests and my kids' interests. We do math, we do reading, we do writing, we do science, we do history, we do all that stuff. And we're currently trying to learn French, which is a lot of fun. Let's see. On top of that, I am involved in a lot of ministry stuff. So Monday nights we have home fellowship. Tuesday nights we have women's Bible study. So doing my Bible study through the week. Plus I'm trying to read through the Bible in a year. Plus brush up on my French and really study it and learn it and dedicate time to actually studying the language instead of just reading it, listening to it, watching it. I really want to study it and speak it more. And then I also lead worship for women's on Tuesday nights. Wednesday nights, my husband serves at the coffee house. Thursday nights, we have church. Friday nights, I think Friday nights are really the only open night. Saturday nights, my husband teaches his class. And then, yeah. So I'm missing stuff. I know I'm missing stuff. But that's the gist of everything that goes on. So how do you balance it all? It really just boils down to being diligent and being faithful in mundane, foundational things. So every day I wake up at 6:30, and I sit down and I spend at least an hour with the Lord. I read, I do my women's study, or I read my 5 to 10 pages in my Bible to get through the Bible in a year. I pray for people. I spend time with the Lord. I have that discipline. Then I check my email. I reply to any emails. I remember things, maybe deadlines that I have. So like this week, I need to start preparing for a review that I have due next week. So things like that, I kind of assess. I'll sit down and I'll go over our finances real quick, which is what I need to do before the littles wake up. But I'll do that, our personal finances or the business finances. And then I will go over some of my French phrases that I'm memorizing while I put on my makeup and get ready for the day. So that established diligence and routine really helps. So the first tip is really work on your diligence and your discipline in your time with the Lord. Because if you can balance out your devotional life and your personal life and things that you need to get done with what needs to get done around the house, and you can balance that well, then that's a great start. Because if you wake up and all your kids are up and you're not you haven't gotten that stuff done or accomplished, then you're kind of playing catch up all day long, and that's not good. As far as discipline goes, learning the art of discipline. I mean, I have a background where at the age of 15, I had the responsibility of an adult really thrown on my shoulders. My parents divorced, and I went and lived with one of my parents, and I essentially had to work full time, so 40 to 60 hours a week. And then I was also in college taking 16 college credits. Yes, I was 15, 16. I did PSEO because I thought high school was stupid and I wanted to get college credits for free. And then I was also taking care of my younger sisters and getting them to and from school, helping them with their homework, and paying a lot of the bills, pretty much all the bills at that time. So discipline was never an issue for me because I needed to do it in order to survive. So I had to get up early. I had to get all my schoolwork done. I had to work. I had to drive my sisters. I had to stay up late. I had to rise up early. And I just naturally had to balance these things. I guess not naturally, but I learned them that way. And then you just slowly increase. You just slowly add things to your plate once you've established a routine. So the things don't get overwhelming when you do them this way and you build small disciplines, kind of like in my video about training your children to be more disciplined and setting up like morning routines. Like from the time we wake up till nap time, this is what we do, right? Starting with those basic routines. So I do all that in the morning, and then my kids start waking up and we do breakfast together. And then every day after breakfast, we sit down and we do our Bible reading or our CKC memory book verses. So I have the 8 kids kind of sit down and they all work on their stuff, and I call them up youngest to oldest, and I work with them individually. Or we read ahead for Sunday or we read ahead for Thursday. It's one or the other. And then we watch our World Watch News episodes, and then we start we're starting to read C.S. Lewis the next 2 weeks. So we'll do that, and then they'll go do their notebooking independently while I maybe work with Duke on his reading and math. And we just have that routine discipline. And then because I have that discipline in my life, I'm able to teach it to my children. So they get up at 7:30, do all their morning chores, do their jurisdictions. So they still have, my son still sleeping, so he's still got dishes to put away. But so then we do that, and then we have quiet time. And during quiet time is another hour or 2 that I have to myself. So I can catch up on women's, I can study my French, I can work on finances, I can make some soap, I can do that kind of stuff. And then I work on dinner, and usually during dinner time, the kids have lessons going on or they're playing and not being entertained by electronics. And that's a good time too. I can pop in earbuds and I can listen to something, or I can work on my French or listen to a Bible teaching or whatever. So that's what I do then. And then we have dinner, and then we have our evening stuff. And then usually in the evenings is another dedicated time that I spend either with my husband going over questions with the finances or something, or I can catch up on other things. So I have those kind of delegated spots during the day where I can work on projects and things that I need to get done or want to get done. And then that's usually when I fill orders and go bring them to the post office, is in the afternoon or the evening. So that's kind of how it works. So how do you balance everything? You really just sit down and you build this diligence. So Wednesday nights, I can go with my husband to the coffee house and I can have a dedicated 3-4 hours to work on something. Or Saturday nights, I can go to the coffee house with my husband and work on something for 3-4 hours. So my sister and I used to meet and work on business stuff together every Tuesday night for a couple hours. And that really helped us stay on top of relabeling products or discussing stock levels or cutting out flyers or going over finances together and setting budgets and attaining goals and things like that. So it's really just the slow and continual and gradual building of discipline. And the other key I would say is to not even consider self, right? Oftentimes we don't accomplish things or do things or stay on top of things because we're too tired, or it's too cold, or we don't feel well, or I'm so busy I don't even have time for whatever. There really isn't an excuse for that if you diligently structure your time and you're just disciplined. So I rarely sit down on my phone and scroll through videos. I actually do set aside time for that at night before I go to bed, where I can sit and I can just browse through social media for a few minutes and then maybe watch a show till I fall asleep. So there's still that type of leisure time. And then we have a set family night, we have a set Sabbath, we have a set date time. So everything gets balanced and nothing suffers and nothing lacks. But there's still enough wiggle room where I can drop projects and focus on other things. Friday's our big school day, or our big cleaning the house day, where we kind of deep clean because there's nothing going on in the evening and there's no music lessons. So Friday's a good day to kind of finish everything before the weekend. So I hope this gives you some tips and ideas. I'm not a superhero. I can't supernaturally balance things that other people couldn't. I just am very disciplined in my time and my view of how I view things. Like, no task is too big, no project is too conquerable. If it's something that the Lord's laid on our heart to accomplish, then He will provide the time to do it. And if you just do a little bit throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the time, knowing you have a deadline to get something done, everything is really not that hard to accomplish. So I hope that encourages you guys. I hope that answers some of your guys' questions that I've been getting. And just keep the main things. Jesus Christ, your devotional life, your kids growing in His Word, you being present at home, running the household well, training your children, and keeping the house and cooking, in their diligence in their life. And then all these things that the Lord's laid on your heart, you can do. You can accomplish them. Be a great helpmeet to your husband. Make sure that your things that you want to do don't crowd where you're unable to do what God's called you to do ministry-wise in your home and outside of your home. Because I think it's important that we as women are involved in ministry in the church and not just in our house. We need to have that example and that outlet to show our children what it is to serve in a church and be part of a body as a woman. And then your husband and his ministry, and then whatever the Lord's called you to, and bring your kids along with you. That's the beautiful part. Like, when I do business stuff, I'm not just, okay, go away kids, it's business time. Like, they do it with me, and so they grow in that with me. So there's nothing compartmentalized. There's nothing that takes time away from my kids or away from my home or away from my husband. I'm learning French, so they're learning French. I run a business and they run a business. I'm filling orders. They know how to fill orders. I'm practicing for worship. They get all their instruments and practice for worship. Like, it's just something we do together as a family. So I hope that encourages you, and always remember that Jesus is coming. Bye, guys.